What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being so serious when I say this. I am not intentionally trying to intertwine Call of Duty with every single game that I go ahead and discuss. I promise you, these devs, I don't know what's going on, but I swear a lot of the industry has beef when it comes down to, I guess, the Call of Duty franchise. Because here we are, and DICE is throwing some shade right at Call of Duty's direction, and I absolutely love it. Ladies and gentlemen, as you guys already know, I think everybody has been preaching about this within Battlefield 6, but the atmosphere and the art direction that they are taking is absolutely phenomenal. Something that I think a lot of us, including myself, have kind of just given up on with the new trend of Fortnite gaming, I guess you could call it, and all these wild, wacky skins taking the forefront of every single game out there, even the most serious of games. I think a lot of us just chalked it up to that's the only way we'll ever see games here on out. We'll never get a serious type of shooter ever again. And it's hilarious because people always misinterpret me when I say serious type of shooter or a more realistic, grounded looking shooter. I'm not talking about the gameplay flow, ladies and gentlemen. Call of Duty back in the day was never tactical, right? Battlefield back in the day was still arcadey. At the end of the day, the games were arcade shooters, but the looks and visuals and the vibes, the atmosphere, were still grounded, and they fit the military theme. And as I stated, I think a lot of people lost hope that we'll never see a return of those vibes. But here we are with Battlefield 6, and they have been absolutely nailing it. It has been phenomenal. And then the design director comes out and completely cements the theme of what this game is going to be like. Now, I hope these words stand, ladies and gentlemen, because I guess anything is subject to change, especially when it comes down to EA. EA does what EA wants to do, right? So if they want to cram crazy skins into the game, they might just do it sometime down the road. But for the time being, this is their perspective, as you can see right here from Battlefield Bulletin. Other devs from the Battlefield studios have shared David Sirlin's vision on Battlefield 6's cosmetic skins and EA's commitment to grounded realism. In an interview with DBLTAP, DICE design director, I'm going to absolutely butcher this and I do apologize, Shashank Uchil, pointed to Call of Duty's infamous Nicki Minaj skin as something Battlefield 6 doesn't need. It has to be grounded. That is what Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was. It was all soldiers on the ground. Pointing at the key art featuring soldiers in soldier gear looking out over a war-torn New York City. It's going to be like this. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Let's keep it real. Keep it grounded. In addition, DICE producer Alexia Christofi told The Comic Book that cosmetics must feel grounded and authentic to this game's aesthetic. What I will say is what's really important to us is that things feel grounded, and we want people to express themselves and to have cool skins and peacock in a way, like I look pretty cool and have this great weapon skin. But we want it to feel authentic to the franchise. That's the approach we're thinking. DICE lead producer David Sirlin also emphasized the importance of how characters look when it comes to classes, and how certain aspects of different classes aren't allowed to be interchangeable to avoid confusion. That's also part of the class identity, how you look, probably more how you think you look than how you actually see someone. We have this shoulder identifier for classes, like with Recon. It's 3 antennas near their shoulder, similar to Battlefield 3. For example, there's a ghillie material on the Recon skins, and they're not used on the other classes to really emphasize the differences. There are some rules there, but it's looser rules than it's always going to look like this. But it needs to feel like it fits the universe, because part of why I think we are getting good feedback here is because it feels like 3 and 4, in a sense, where it fits. And I think that's really important. I love all of these statements, and I love the direction that they are pushing with these skins. And also, if you go ahead and pre-order, actually, the premium edition of Battlefield 6, they already have a lineup of skins that they are introducing. Personally, I gotta be real, I don't really care for them that much. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I don't really care for them. I think the base skins actually kind of look a bit better. But if this is the direction where they are, planning on pushing, I think that this is all right. I understand that some of the skins might, have a bit more of a pop and accents here and there. But as long as we're not taking it over the top, where again, we're running around as animals and hip hop stars, musicians, comedians, all of this noise, as long as we are soldiers and the skins that they do decide to drop into the game, even though some might, have a bit more of a pop to it, as long as they fit the vibe, the atmosphere, the grit of what this is all about, then I think, we're going to be all right. And I'm glad that they're emphasizing this and I don't want to say putting Call of Duty in their place, but if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm glad they said what they said, because it's the truth, and they're showcasing to us that they understand what made Battlefield popular, what Battlefield truly is, and they can understand that when games like Fortnite pop off, from their core foundation, they're allowed to do so. It fits their universe. It fits their atmosphere, right? Splitgate, X-Defiant, other games that I support, people always come up my neck for not getting on top of their flashier skins. But I've been saying it time and time and time again. These games have a reason to put these skins into their titles. Even the finals, right? Like, they all fit. But then you have a game like Call of Duty where it was never like that from the ground up. The game still resembled some military grit, even when they did, step out of their comfort zone with games like Black Ops 2, or even Call of Duty Ghost having some different style of skins. They stepped out, they introduced some stuff, but it still had that grit, that military grit. Now it's just a free-for-all. There's absolutely no vibe, no atmosphere. It's all a coin toss on what you're going to see on a match-to-match basis when it comes to Call of Duty. And the fact that, EA DICE is acknowledging this, saying that we don't need that, pointing out the Call of Duty vibes. And also, I'm going to say this now, they wouldn't point out Call of Duty at all with the Nicki Minaj skin unless they were thinking that, again, they're out of their boundaries, they're out of their atmosphere. But having the whole team come out and say these things, not just like one guy who's a little salty or something spewing it out, I think at this point you can tell that this is the common mentality across the board when it comes to DICE working on Battlefield. They are all on the same boat that this is the direction cosmetics should be pushing in their game. This is going to be huge. Again, we don't know if it's going to stay this way. We have no clue. They can make it sound that way, but EA could switch up at any moment's time. But what I'm personally hoping for out of this situation is that, one, Battlefield 6 is very successful, and people enjoy it as long as things turn out good. If it turns out bad and things have to be critiqued, then it is what it is. It happens, and we're going to have to do so. But like I said, one, I want this game to do well. And two, I want it to do well while they maintain these skins, while the whole game carries this atmosphere, because that will finally prove to the overall gaming scene that you do not need overly flashy skins in order to get people to buy your game or even purchase cosmetics within your store. I'm so tired of the mentality that anything that's an arcade-style shooter has to follow the Fortnite mentality or else it's going to flop. I'm getting sick of it. I really am. And I think that the reaction from the Battlefield community, after seeing Battlefield 6 and seeing the atmosphere and seeing the direction they're trying to push, I personally believe that, again, the community reaction proves that people are done with it. And you can go under any Call of Duty post, anything, revealing their trailers, whatever. It's just going to be people preaching that the game is going to look like absolute nonsense a month or two after launch. And sometimes when they carry forward, you can't even get the first week without the game looking like nonsense. That's all you see all the time within Call of Duty. There's definitely a population when it comes to the gaming scene that wants a game that looks exactly like Battlefield 6. Grounded, it has atmosphere, gritty. It looks like you're actually at war. It's just beautiful to see so many people craving this, seeing the developers push for this, and seeing more and more people in this industry pointing some fingers over at Call of Duty. It makes me very happy because people will tell you all the time to stop pestering them. But seriously, Call of Duty has shifted tremendously. And, we're not the only ones noticing. Of course, they're still going to make tons of cash. But it's sad to see such a goated franchise make such weird decisions. And Battlefield's going to put a huge emphasis on that. And I'm assuming they're going to completely run with it. But we'll see. Maybe they're hypocrites, and a month later, down the road, they'll start incorporating the most wild skins you'd ever notice, and guess what? They'll get called out for it. But if they stay true to these words, I think we could see some major changes within the FPS gaming space. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post to your daily at 8 morning Eastern Time. And sometimes we even plop out a second upload, depending on how, hot news is coming out here. But we do discuss everything between Arc Raiders, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Splitgate 2. So, of course, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, you can link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.